الحمد لله نحن نشعر في هذا
Over the
السن
past year, we
الواحد
have achieved huge and
بمنظمة
numerous developments,
تطورات
chiefly freedom and
كبيرة
independence as we rid our
وكثيرة.
country of foreign
الشيء
occupation,
الأول نحن
injustice, and
حصلنا
oppression.
الحمد لله
This is what
وهو
any people
الحرية
or country
واستقلال
under
البلد
occupation aspires
من
to. It is a
الاحتلال
source of pride for
والظالمين
us.
ومن
It is
الناس
also a
الأجنبي.
blessing.
هذا الشيء
You have been
الذي
out and about, and you
يحمله
can see for
الشعب
yourselves
والعالم،
the huge
وهذا لا
transformations in our
نعرفه
country in terms of
ونعمة
security.
كبيرة.
It is the first time
وأيضا
in
في
40
المجالات
years to
الآخرى
have a
الحمد
central
لله في السنة
government taking
الواحدة
control of the whole country,
تكون
corner to
تغير،
corner,
وهنا الحمد
inch
لله
to inch.
تطورات
The
كثيرة
central government, which
وتحول
without any levies or foreign
في
aid is
مجال
capable
الأمن
of
الحمد
paying
لله.
government employees'
في
salaries
40
across
سنة لا
all
يوجد
state
هكذا
institutions.
الحكم
These are
يكون
just a few examples.
استقراره.
Let's talk about when you came to Kabul. Why did the Taliban not respect the agreement that was signed in Doha? Why did you use force? Why did you take over Kabul by force rather than negotiating your way inside?
في مدة 14 شهر
Throughout 14 months since the withdrawal of the U.S. and NATO forces, there has not been a single case of violation. A living proof of such fact is the host and sponsor, the state of Qatar. In contrast, numerous violations, actually more than 1,000, were committed by the U.S. forces and former Kabul government. For example, was when Biden came to power, he extended the date of the withdrawal by 4 months without negotiating with us, let alone the delay in removing names from the blacklist, the delay to release Afghan prisoners. There is a long list of violations. Despite our frustrations, we preferred not to resort to violence. However, the sudden vacuum in Kabul was the reason for us to step in addition to the request made by Karzai and Abdullah for us to come and take control.
You promised a lot of things. You promised peace. You promised rights for Afghans. You promised an inclusive government. You promised women's rights. How many of those promises have you kept?
العالم وخصوصا
The foreign occupation that has been controlling Afghanistan over the past 20 years with their advanced technologies, huge capabilities, and resources, they failed throughout that time, failed to restore the security and order our people are enjoying now. It has been only 1 year since we assumed power, and the world should not expect us to achieve all our goals overnight. It is next to impossible, especially when the international community has not fulfilled promises, including recognition of our rule and foreign aid. Despite the delay on their part, we, by the grace of God, achieved huge progress on many fronts. Now you can see girls joining universities and schools. Needless to say, there are many measures still to be taken in all our ministries and other state institutions. Security and order is the paramount goal.
Does your family, do the leaders of the Taliban who are under restrictions, do they need to be in government? Isn't that an impediment on Afghanistan? Why aren't other people involved in taking care of the government? Because there are a lot of sanctions against many members of this government.
تعريف
Till this day, the whole world has not come to a uniform definition of terrorism. It has been the usual habit that those in power label anyone standing in their way as a terrorist, enemy, hostile, etc. History has many examples. Yasser Arafat and Nelson Mandela remained for years on the blacklist. Later, they were awarded the Nobel Prize. Blacklists and sanctions are nothing but a political tool. Our paramount goal was to free our country of the shackles of occupation, to regain our freedom and independence, and that is what we accomplished. Now we do not wish to interfere with other countries and other people's affairs. We and the whole Afghan people regard our leaders highly. Our leaders are regarded as heroes, as leaders to freedom and independence.
More than 3 million people are internally displaced. In terms of food insecurity, it's considered to be the second largest food crisis in the world. Do you think you're satisfied with what you've achieved in 1 year? And what are you doing for the people of Afghanistan?
كما قلت في السابق
As I stated earlier, Afghanistan today is totally different from what it was 20 years ago. For example, the former government failed to do anything for Mazar-e-Sharif. They were reeling under pressures from the occupation. We started to do something in the right direction. Now you see minerals and natural resources are being extracted using local and foreign companies. By the grace of God, through these projects, we are now able to generate revenues for the functioning of our ministries and other institutions. All these revenues used to fall into the wrong hands in the past. All the state revenues are now channeled into the government's treasury. Having said that, we aspire to enjoy good and friendly relations with the whole world. We're here to serve our people. I believe we have managed to achieve a lot for our people, but we aspire for more, despite the challenges we are facing from the international community, including the issue of recognition.
Very quickly, if you could tell us, one of the promises that you made to the outside community was that the Afghan soil is not going to be used by any outside groups. They are going to be zero tolerance for any terrorist organizations or individuals who might be working against other governments. In the last few weeks, we've seen a number of assassinations take place. The leader of the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan has been killed. The leader of al-Qaeda has been killed in Kabul. What is your government doing, and how is it going to keep its promise?
Since the signing of the agreement, we have been honoring all obligations. We dare anybody to give a single example or a single occasion where our territories were used to undermine other countries' security. The statement made by the Islamic Emirate explaining its position was very clear. We are committed to the Doha Agreement. It clearly sets out the obligations placed on us as well as the U.S. If any violation was committed, it was the U.S. who entered our territories without permission, even without notifying us. This was a clear violation on the part of the U.S. Theirs is a malicious propaganda aimed at smearing the image of the Islamic Emirate. We reject and refute these false claims, and I reiterate, we have not violated any of our obligations under the Doha Agreement. We are committed to honoring our obligations and wish to see the other party honoring theirs and live up to their responsibilities.